facility it is. I used to work in neighbouring Aylesbury, just next door. So we used to do a lot of work at Stoke Mandeville. I mean, it's how the Paralympic Games started. You know, they were the Stoke Mandeville Games.
There's a lot of pride there about being the birthplace of the Paralympic Games. The Heritage Museum now is at the stadium, and yeah, no, it's a really good place, especially as a new athlete to be there, and it's so inspiring to have started there. And yeah, it was a fantastic atmosphere, and still is for a lot of sports.
So we're just going through the lineups then. We just had a look there at Gail Edon from France. She's on firing point A. She picked up a bronze medal at the Hamar European Championships earlier on this year. Moving on to firing point B, now looking at Rabina Francis of India. Sport is everything to me, my life, my career, my status, everything, she says.
Very determined athlete.
Now there's a focus for you.
Yes.
Moving on to firing point C, representing Ukraine. Had a chat with Irina just before the final. She seems very, very relaxed, in good spirits. Nice and jovial.
Nice and jovial, but worth mentioning the current world champion in 10-metre air pistol.
That's right, got a gold medal at Sydney in 2019. So expecting big things of her today. I like self-discipline, she says. Well, you would do. If you're a gold medalist in the World Championship, then you're going to need an awful lot of self-discipline for that.
Absolutely.
So Irina Leayu of Ukraine in the hunt for another medal for Ukraine to add to their impressive tally of this World Cup so far. So now moving on to firing point D, and Samida Pathak of India featured in the final yesterday. Part of this very, very impressive Indian team that's come here to this World Cup.
Yeah, they've brought a big team. The team's really grown in recent years.
Second French athlete so far in this final on firing point E. This is Melinda Hermon. And she's assisted today by Raman Ramalingam, who was in the commentary chair where Izzy's sitting today. He was here on day one. And a fine fellow of a man he is too. He would be competing himself, but Air France managed to lose his luggage. So he's been unable to get his kit and equipment back in time. Moving on then, here's firing point F, representing India. This is Nisha Kanwar. She's the third Indian athlete in this final. It just shows you the prowess of the Indian team to have three people make a final. Gold medalist at the 2019 WSPS World Cup. And here's a very impressive shooter. This is Sara Al-Shabani from Iraq, a silver medalist here yesterday on day 2 of this World Cup, and also a bronze medalist at the Jakarta 2018 Asian Paralympic Games. And then on firing point H, which will be our final athlete in this final. Here she is representing Hungary. This is Christina David, the eldest competitor in the final. Nice lady though, had a quick chat with her before. She trains with kettlebells and practices Spartan fitness regimes and swims twice a week to maintain her fitness. I mean, swimming is the best way to do that. I managed to shift 28 kilos by swimming in a pool every day. And much to the surprise of Izzy, who already thinks I'm still a big, large man, no doubt, and probably has no idea that I've already lost 3.5 stone.
28 kilos is a hell of a lot. Maybe you should take up the Spartan fitness regime.
Well,
too.
I'm going to go back to England and keep going.
It obviously works because she was the highest qualifier coming into this by 7 points. 7-point margin is a lot. So I think she would be one of my top picks, definitely for this. She's extremely experienced shooter, Christina David.
30 seconds.
So is Irina Leayu on firing point C. I'd like to see the French athletes here do well. Gail Edon in the 10-metre air pistol women's in Norway finished 4th. She won a bronze in the other air pistol event, but I'd like to see her break into the medals. That would be great. But also the athlete from Iraq, Al-Shabani. She hasn't been on the circuit for that long, but she's been performing very well. So it would be great to see her up there on the medal table as well.
So the athletes are now out of time from sighting time. The chief range officer has called stop and unload. And we'll get underway with this 10-metre women's air pistol final. Thank you very much for your comments as well on YouTube. Do keep them coming in. Sumyadeep, thank you very much. Come on, Samina. Come on, Rabina. And come on, India. Come on, Nisha. At least you've managed to remember to congratulate and encourage all three of the Indian athletes there and haven't taken sides with at least just one of them. So thank you very much for getting in touch as well, Sumyadeep. Thank you. Wherever you are watching around the world, then you're very welcome. This is the start now of the 10-metre air pistol women's final. Day 3 of Munich 2022, the WSPS World Cup. We'll have the first series of 5 shots. The Chief Range Officer has just called that and has also now given the start command. So here we go, we're up and running. Very impressive opening shot from Gail Edon of France. Look at that, 10.6. And
yeah,
also
number of 10s across the board there. Patak with the 10.6 as well. David with the 10.2 and Liaku with a 10.0 so far. It is early days, but it's nice to see the 10s coming in early.
we did have a 10.9 in our last pistol final. I'm ever hopeful, always, for one. So a 10.6 is close enough for now. If we could just notch that up by another 0.3, I'd be a very happy man. So just looking at Christina David of Hungary at the moment, who so far was doing pretty well, was at the top of the scoreboard. It's still early days, it shifts around and moves around all over the place, but a 9.7 with her last shot. Here's Rabina Francis of India. A 7.4 from her. She had a lot of scores in the 7s yesterday in the mixed final as well.
Yeah, she's having a little bit of a shaky start, but she can shoot a lot better than this. She came into this final in 2nd place after qualification with an impressive score. 565 for women's air pistol is very good. So we know she can do a lot better. I expect, though, that she's heaping the pressure on herself. We saw her motto earlier that sport was her everything. So I expect she puts a lot of pressure on herself, and she just needs to find that groove and relax a little. But impressive shooting coming from firing point C, from Liahu, and also from Edon on fire point A.
Here's Al Shabani on your screens right now. Silver medalist yesterday. I do love her headband.
Yeah, she looks great. Yeah, the mixed air pistol finals yesterday were brilliant. I do believe that's the first time that Iraq have won a mixed pairs air pistol medal. I might be wrong. Please, if you're listening, correct me if I'm wrong. But no, it was great to see them on the medal table for air pistol.
So this is Samida Pathak we're just looking at the moment. She's on firing point D. Last shot was a 7.7. She's followed that up with a 9.4, so an improvement there. So we're just moving now to the closing stages of this first 5 shot series. Gail Edon on firing point A has taken her 5, which means she's now leading the competition. So there we are, the stop command has been given. That's the first series of 5. So Gail Edon, who you were talking about earlier, Izzy, now at the top of the scoreboard. 0.9 is the difference between herself and her fellow participant from France, Melinda Hemont. 0.9 behind. And then Irina Lehayu of Ukraine is 0.9 behind that.
For the next competition series, low.
So 4 minutes 10 has been added back to the clock. It's 250 seconds. The athletes will now have another series of 5 shots.
Yeah, I'm surprised after 5 shots to see India in 6, 7 and 8, or joint 5th there, 6, 7, 8. But I expect, as we saw in the last final, that there'll be some climbing. After the next 5 shots, the gaps between 2nd and 5th not big at all. So, and as we've seen in pistol, there can be some quite big gaps made up fairly quickly. A few 10s then coming in on shot number 6 from Rabina Francis, Irina Lehayu and Christina David already. I'd like to see Christina David move up the leaderboard here. I mean, to have shot a 5.72 in qualification and come away without a medal would be a massive shame. So I'd like to see Christina David move up into the top 3. But it's good to see actually the French athletes, Melinda and Gail, still at the top of the leaderboard for now. Since Paris 2024 was announced as the next host for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, the French team has grown enormously. They must have had a lot more support and a lot more funding, and it's great to see not just 1 but 2 French women in a World Cup final. It bodes well for Paris 24 for sure.
So here's the 2019 world champ just shaking her head here. The only left-handed shooter that we've got in this final shoot? No. No, we've got 2.
Shaking her head, but did just shoot a 10.4.
Maybe just shaking it off then. And we've got Melinda Hemel of France, who's also a left-hander. There she is on our screens. Clearly looks after her nails as well. So most of the athletes now have taken 3 of their shots, about 1.5 minutes remaining from the allotted time.
That'll be why Lehayu was shaking her head. 5.9 there. It's not a great shot from her, but I have no doubt that she'll find that 10 again soon.
And why do you think that sort of happens, Izzy? Is that literally perhaps just waiting too long?
Yeah, I mean, it can happen for a number of reasons. Yeah, if you're holding on too long, if you're worried about the time, you can often, there's a lot of time pressure in the finals and your technique can be put under pressure. It can also be, though, that a lot of athletes are already working with the trigger on the raise and the lower of the pistol during that part of the process. And it can just be if you're working too quickly with the pistol, or even if you get a little twitch, the pistol can go off early. So it could have been either of those. I wasn't sure which one that is in her case, but to me it looks like it probably was a little bit of a holding on too long and putting under a bit of pressure there. But
so Chief Range Officer's called stop, which means that's the end of the second series. And Christina David of Hungary has managed to claw back up the scoreboard. Here's how it stands at the moment then. It's Gail Edon that slips down into second position. She's tied, though, with Melinda Hemel. There's a 0.6 difference between the 2 French athletes and the shooter from Hungary. Looking down at the bottom, though, as Izzy was saying earlier on, very, very surprised to see 2 Indian athletes at the bottom of the scoreboard. Rabina Francis 7th and Samida Pathak in 8th place. We're moving into single shots now. That's the 2-5 series over. So we've had 10 shots in this final of a usual 24, unless we have a shoot-off. But here's shot 11, and then the next shot, shot 12, will decide our first elimination. And just looking now at the leader, this is Christina David.
Good shooting from the two at the top at the minute. Gail Edon with the 10-2 and Christina David with the 10-0. Yeah, we can't count out Christina David's experience. She was the bronze medalist in this event from Tokyo. So I'm sure that will come into play here a lot.
So it's still David leading the way, but that lead has been reduced to 0.4 over Edon, who has second place now.
So Jamie Stangram, the announcer here, just informing the crowd of what's going on and just explaining how the scoreboard is taking shape at the moment after shot 11, our first single shot. The next one will decide our first elimination. At the moment, in danger of elimination from this final is Rabina Francis from India. She's on firing point B, right next to Gail Edon of France, who has been shooting very well. Edon's only 0.4 behind the leader, that's Christina David of Hungary.
Yeah, Rabina Francis has to make up 0.3 on her teammate in this shot to stay in this final. But at the minute, yes, is in risk of being eliminated in 8th place.
So Francis gone first, that's an 8.2. A 9.9, it means Rabina Francis will be leaving this final. She knows that already, so does the coach. Safety flag going back into the pistol. So in 8th place, representing India, the first elimination from this final, a total of 108.0 is Rabina Francis. Gets a big applause from the crowd that have gathered here at the finals hall in Munich. It's always nice to see such respect right across the board for all the athletes and all the competitors as well in this World Cup. So coach having a quick word. So Christina David still leads the competition then, 0.6 in front of France's Gail Edon. Then Nisha Kamwar waving the flag for India. A difference then of 1.0 behind Kamwar to Edon of France. And then, as I said, David at the top. Here's shot 13. This is our next single shot in this final.
Start.
So this is Edon of France. Oh, a 9.5. Quite a few in the 9s coming in there. Pathak, the only athlete with a shot in the 10s. She got a 10.4. So a nervy final starting to take place, perhaps. Christina David still leads. There's a difference of 0.2, but our focus at the moment on the bottom. 7th place, representing Ukraine, Irina Leahu is in danger of elimination. She's also 0.7 behind Pathak of India in 6th place. So the next shot, shot 14, this will decide 7th, unless we were to go to a shoot-off. There is a difference of 0.7 between 7th and 6th as it stands.
Start.
And the two lowest finalists now know that they're in danger of elimination. They know they need a decent shot.
Yeah, it's never a fun place to be in.
Right next to each other too. So Pathak with an 8.1. What can Leahu respond with?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, well, it is 10.3. That's a decent shot to stay in the final. Big shrug of the shoulders, but she's made it. She's survived. It means leaving in 7th position the second Indian athlete from this final to go. Samida Pathak on firing point D leaves the final on a total of 128.5. There she is. So one Indian athlete left. They started with 3. The 2 French athletes are still in this final, although Melinda Hermont finds herself in 6th place.
Yeah, that fantastic last 10 from Leahu bumped her up not just into 6th but into 5th. So she's given herself a little bit of a cushion, but only 0.2 above Melinda Hermont, who's currently sitting in 6th. But the next 2 shots is plenty to make up a 0.2 difference, and will decide 6th place.
Loving some of those differences, though. Look at that, very, very close.
0.2 only at the top. Still, those two battling it out there. A little bit of a gap between currently in 2nd and 3rd. 2.1 between Edon and Al-Shabani.
Thank you for your comments, which are coming in. Lots of support for India. Mac Ram, thank you very much. Yash with lots of Indian flags as well. If you are watching on YouTube, feel free to make a comment, to get in contact with us. If you're watching on Facebook, we very much appreciate you joining us for this final. So, Christina David of Hungary, now 0.8 in front at the top. Let's have a look at the next elimination place, though. That's Melinda Hermont of France as it stands. She is 1.7 behind Leahu of Ukraine, who is in 5th place. Ukraine, who lead the medal table at the moment. They picked up another gold earlier on this afternoon. An incredible performance from them and the Ukrainian team so far. So our next shot will decide 6th place.
Start.
Now the French support has arrived. French support a really big team here, and they can normally get very rowdy in the finals, which is great to hear. The French athletes on the firing points love it.
So here is Melinda Hermont with a 7. I mean,
unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be good enough.
I mean,
Gail Edon with the 10.4 there.
Great shot. So the next elimination from this final, representing France, Melinda Hermont leaves this final, which means there's one French athlete remaining. She's in the hunt for a medal at the moment. 2nd, as it stands, it's Christina David of Hungary, who still leads the competition. There's a difference of 0.8 at the top. So our next shot, next single shot, will be shot 17. There's how it stands. Look at some of those differences. There's a 0.8 now between Gail Edon and Christina David at the top, and then a 3.2 gap from 3rd to 2nd. There's certainly some daylight there, and a 1.7 gap between Nisha Kanwar and Sarah Al-Shabani.
Competition shot, load.
Yeah, the next 2 shots will decide 5th place. Currently sitting there is Irina Leahu of Ukraine. Only a 0.4 difference, though, between her and Nisha Kanwar of India. So not a big gap there. I'm sure Leahu can dig deep here, find a few 10s, and maybe claw another place up into this final. Oh, Kanwar there with a very strong 10.3. She's fighting for her place in the Leahu, unfortunately with a 7.9 there.
We're just waiting on Sarah Al-Shabani, I think. Has she shot yet?
Yeah, waiting on Christina David with the last one there, 9.8.
A 9.8. So Christina David now increases the lead just ever so slightly. 1.1 is now the difference. Look at that, though, a 3.9 difference between Al-Shabani and Gail Edon at the moment.
We're looking at 5th place now. Leahu of Ukraine is there, 2.8 away from the safety of 4th place.
So keeping an eye on the next elimination. In 5th place at the moment, Irina Leahu of Ukraine. It would mean that this is one of the first finals perhaps without a medal for Ukraine if she was to lead.
Those are rare, yes they are. Yeah, 2.8 difference. It's tough to make back in a single shot, unfortunately, but well, anything's possible.
Here she is, one of the 2 left-handed shooters that's made this final today.
10.1 from Kanwar there will secure her place. Oh, lots of 10s across the board there. Unfortunately, Leahu with an 8.5 there. We'll see her go out in 5th place.
Yeah, there she goes. Just doffs her cap and takes her headphones off. Gives a wave to the crowd. The gold medalist from the 2019 World Championships in Sydney has left this final in 5th place. So it means Ukraine won't get a medal for this final. But it does mean that India have a chance of picking up another medal. They're 2nd in the table as it stands. but it's still Christina David of Hungary who leads this final, 1.8 in front. A difference of 3.9 between Sarah Al-Shabani, as we're seeing it on the scoreboard at the moment, in third.
For the next competition shot, load.
Yeah, I think for Irina there's absolutely no shame in coming fifth at this World Cup. You know, she's a good friend of mine, and we've spoken a lot about how living and training has been in Ukraine in the last few months, obviously with the situation there. So she says training has been very difficult, almost impossible. So to have come fifth here at this World Cup is a fantastic achievement. And while some of her teammates have finished on the podium, I think that's still a phenomenal achievement. Look, 10s across the board so far.
There we go.
9.9 from Al-Shabani.
Yeah, that's the French and Indian contingents going crazy there. A 10.6 for Edon and a 10.7 for Kanwar. At this stage of the final, as you just said, that's just brilliant. That's just world class.
Yeah, Kanwar with that 10.7 has pushed herself up into third place. The next shot will decide fourth place, and Al-Shabani of Iraq has 0.7 to make up on Nisha Kanwar if she is to make it onto the podium today. But currently leading is still Christina David with a 1.2 lead over Gail Edon.
So Sarah Al-Shabani, silver medalist yesterday. She's got to survive here. 0.7 behind in fourth place. It's Nisha Kanwar of India who's in front of her at the moment. There's Sarah on the left. Nisha with a 9.8, Sarah with a 9.5, so that's not going to be enough. It means that it was a silver medal yesterday, but Sarah Al-Shabani will be leaving this final in fourth place, just missing out on the chance of another medal and another podium finish. Gets a massive round of applause nonetheless. What an achievement, not only to get a medal so far at this World Cup, but also just to make another final as well, being so new to the sport. So our final three is Christina David, it's Gail Edon and Nisha Kanwar. So Hungary, France and India are the countries left fighting out for the medals. Look at the table though, 1.6 the difference between Gail Edon of France and Christina David of Hungary. A 3.5 difference from Nisha Kanwar as it stands. So it looks like we're in for another exciting finish in this 10-metre air pistol women's final. The men's final earlier on today. If you missed it, it's definitely worth a watch back. We won't give you the result for now, just in case you would like to watch it. It's certainly worth a visit. It was absolutely compelling. It was brilliant.
Start.
So the start command's been given.
Can expect to hear a lot more from the French crowd in the next couple of shots as they support Gail on firing point A, currently in second place.
I think we've also had one of the relatives of Samida Pathak as well watching our coverage. Ambarish Pathak, hello. Thank you for joining us. There's the Indian team. And here's our leader. This is Christina David. There she is. Oh, hang on. A 9.2. She doesn't like that at all.
She won't like that, but there were no high shots from the three athletes in that last sort of series. So their positions remain the same. And the next shot will decide bronze medal. Currently sitting in third, in bronze medal position, is Nisha Kanwar of India. She has a 3.3 difference to make up on Gail Edon of France, which is difficult to do in one shot. So bronze medal looks like it's going to India.
Okay, is Nisha just settling in. Normally by now, sometimes we've got some clapping that's taking place by the time the bronze medal decision's coming up. A 7.8, so yeah, and a 9.8 from Edon of France. So the bronze medal is going to India. They're second in the medal table at the moment, so that's going to help with that tally. So stupendous performance from Nisha Kanwar of India. A total of 206.3 bags her the gold medal, the bronze medal even.
Yeah.
The bronze medal, and it's another medal for the Indian team here at the World Cup in Munich. Look at that, they're delighted. So a 1.5 gap now between France and Hungary. It's Gail Edon versus Christina David. It's pretty much been these two all the way.
competition shot, load. Start.
So 50 seconds back on the clock for shot 21.
Yep, and the whole of the French team is here behind Gail supporting her, so she shoots well here. Expect a lot of noise from the French crowd.
Sorry, shot 23. Sorry, I stand corrected. Sorry.
Oh, 2-8
Christina,
there for both the
look at
athletes.
that. They're both feeling it.
Yeah, they are both feeling it. David is trying to defend her lead, nerves creeping in here. Even with an 8.7 there, Gail closes the gap by just 0.1, so 1.4 separates the top two athletes here. Next shot will decide gold and silver.
For the next competition shot, load.
So they'll both have 50 seconds to fire their shot. We're not expecting either athlete to go anywhere near that time allowance. Encouragement. There you go. Christina's fired already.
Oh, Gail shoots a 10 here, a high 9 here.
9.6. It's not enough. It's not enough. So close.
0.1.
So
My
close.
goodness me.
We almost went to a shoot-off there. Look, even the crowd can't believe it. A 0.1 finish. It means, though, it's the first medal for Hungary of this Munich 2022 WSPS World Cup. The gold medalist in this final. She led pretty much the entire way. A bronze medalist at the 2020 Paralympic Games. There she is, looks exhausted, bless her. What an achievement. A gold medal for Hungary, Christina David. The silver medalist representing France, Gail Edon. There she is. And the silver medalist, as I said, just going there to Gail Edon. The bronze medalist going to India, that's Nisha Kamwar.
Yeah, Christina David will not have liked finishing on an 8.3. That will be a relief to have not lost out on that last shot. But it's fantastic shooting from Gail Edon, because she has missed out so narrowly in finals this year so far, including the European Championships when she finished fourth. So that silver is a fantastic achievement for her. Again, another medal for India in the bronze medal position, and a gold for Christina David is absolutely fantastic. The Hungarian team here is very small. They have 2 pistol shooters, 1 female, 1 in male. So the only Hungarian pistol shooter in this event, and she's won the gold medal. So it's a fantastic achievement for her.
So here we have the medalists then. The bronze medalist, big smile, representing India, Nisha Kamwar. And the silver medalist being announced here, Gail blowing a sigh of relief, I think, and nodding to the crowd.
Fantastic.
Representing France, Gail Edon with the silver medalist. And Christina David, there she is, the gold medalist, led for pretty much the entire way. And I think was just happy to get over the line, finished with a difference of 0.1. So it's the first medal of the Games and the World Cup for Hungary. France also on the podium, and India with another bronze medal. They are now second in the medal table. It's still Ukraine who lead. Izzy, thank you very much for this coverage of the final. Thank you if you've been watching on YouTube. Thank you if you've been watching on Facebook as well. The next final is in just over an hour's time, local time here in Germany. That will be at 2:30. That's the R8 women's 50-metre rifle 3 positions. And then 4 o'clock this afternoon, the local time will be the R7 final. That's the men's 50-metre rifle 3 positions. So from myself, Rory McAllister, from Izzy Bailey as well, and the entire team that's brought you this coverage of this final. We'll see you in just about an hour's time. So for now, like we say in England, cheerio.